Der Blaue Reiter, the Blue Rider. This is the name of the famous group of expressionist artists brought together by Franz Marc and Wassily Kandinsky, two of its more prominent artists. They're short-lived, only active from 1911 to 1914, according to smarthistory.org. The group included German and Russian artists such as Alexei von der Linsky, Marianne von Werfken, August Mack, Paul Klee, Heinrich Campendonck, and Gabriel Munter, as mentioned on German Expressionism, Leicester.org. The group explored the spiritual element in their art, and as the name suggests, their art often was focused on horses using multiple shades of blue. For both Kandinsky and Marc, blue was the color that evoked contemplation of the eternal nature of one's soul, and they often used the color in their works. On a more general note, who wouldn't use blue? It's such a flattering color to look at. One can even use blue to decorate. But I digress. As mentioned in Kandinsky and Munich, Kandinsky and Marc were good friends, and they were the ones who founded the group. The lesser known of the two, Marc's paintings depict animal, often in bright colors that seem out of touch with reality. He felt that blue was a masculine color, and yellow was a feminine color. Franz Marc was born in Munich, Germany, on the 8th of February in 1880. To Wilhelm Marc, a painter of landscapes, and Sophie Marc, as noted on the artstory.org, on Franz Marc's page. He studied at the Munich Academy of Art in 1903 and 1907. He spent time in Paris copying the works of Impressionists and other modern artists. Marc was particularly entranced by the bold colors of Van Gogh. While finding his own style, Marc dabbled in Impressionism and Pointillism. He ultimately found himself to be a Fauvist because of the style's vibrant, eclectic color choices and the style's tendency towards primitivism. His works before joining Der Blaue Reiter slowly developed into the bold colors and animal paintings that are characteristic of his mature works. Marc loved all animals, and his painting reflected this in a menagerie of images. I, on the other hand, love horses and like to focus on horses because horses, well, they're the best. He sought to find the spirit of the animals and wrote, "How does a horse see the world? Or an eagle? Or a doe? Or a dog? How wretched and soulless is our convention of placing animals in a landscape which belongs to our eyes, instead of sinking ourselves in the soul of the animal in order to imagine his perception," as found in the Bulletin of Detroit Institute of Arts. One of his early works, while part of the Der Blaue Reiter, was Blue Horse 1, painted in 1911. As is characteristics of his work, Blue Horse 1 is of a majestic horse done in blue. The painting is very rough. Parts of the canvas have been left blank. The horse is done in a similar style to those done by artists in ancient Greece. The colors used are bold. The canvas seems to be divided into blocks, which are then painted one color, a technique reminiscent of Van Gogh's Bedroom in Arles. The rolling hills in the background are maroon, yellow, purple, and the top hill is a blue similar to the color of the horse. Marc has compressed space in this painting. It is hard to tell where the hills in the background begin. The horse seems unnaturally foreshortened, with very muscular and almost mythical. Space is becoming more and more of a thing to be played with, rather than something that must be carefully rendered to reflect the real world. The horse seems to blend and become one with the background. Marc felt that animals were pure, and unlike humans, they were in harmony with nature, as referred to in a history of modern art. The first Animals was painted by Marc in 1913. This is one of the last works he created while in Der Blaue Reiter, and shows the transformation of his work since 1911. This work also depicts a large blue horse. Although, instead of looking out towards the viewer, like in Blue Horse 1, this horse is facing the side. Its head is twisted so the horse is looking backwards, as if waiting for someone who has fallen behind. Behind the large horse, peering out at the viewer, is a purple donkey, my interpretation because of its pronounced ears. And in the front of the picture are two reddish-brown horses who are much smaller in size. The background is done in a myriad of bright colors. The work is obviously influenced by Marc's interactions with Robert Delaunay, whom he met in 1912. This famous cubist heavily influenced Marc's work, as is shown by the analytical cubism used in this painting. Space is once again compressed, and the figures seem to be piled on top of one another. The title of this work seems to refer to the animals getting off the Ark of Genesis, 2 by 2 after the Great Flood. This imbibes the image with a feeling of renewal, and is a commentary by Mark that the world is corrupt and in need of change. Mark was drafted into the German army in 1914. He served until 1916 when he was killed by a shell in the Battle of Verdun. Mark's artwork was not generally appreciated during or directly after his lifetime. His works were named degenerate by the Nazis and were considered un-German. His works were included the Nazis' Entente-Kunst exhibition that traveled Germany for 3 years in an attempt to mock non-traditional art forms, according to the journal The Age, Art and Atrocity. Today, Mark is a beloved artist. His works are copied by school children, and his paintings sell for millions. Other artists of Der Block Literatur were also drafted during World War I, and those of Russian nationality, like Kandinsky and Werkin, were called back to Russia. The group physically separated, Der Block Literatur fell to the wayside, and its members went off on their own tangents. But what if the Blue Rider group hadn't fallen apart? Where would their exploration of color have taken them? What has war caused us to miss? It certainly put an end to Mark's exploration of color.